Alright, we need to come up with an intro and we need to figure out like what else to do here. Am I gonna play Cyberpunk? I will.
I step out when I'm kinda down.
Alright, yeah, let's do this one. What MIDI keyboard is that? I'm using the KeyStation 88, but I'm actually going to get a Nectar GXP 88. I literally just ordered one because this keyboard is apparently giving me, it's sending, actually you can take a look right now, like it's sending like these little drift values for the volume and it's actually throwing stuff off. It's really annoying. So I need to replace this keyboard. It was $100 at Guitar Center. And I was like super desperate to get a keyboard because I didn't bring mine back and I was trying to make some stuff. So for what I paid, it's pretty worth it. Are there more presets for RC20? I do believe so. I don't think I have that many though. Why are you making music like it's a game? How do you play it easy? So easy. I mean, it is a game in a way, right? Just kind of experimental sandbox. It's so funny how like aggressive the question sounds, but I know where you're asking. A lot of the workflow I think just stems from a really strong connection from what I hear in my head and what I can then choose to play. It's sort of, I guess, a function of playing classical music and developing strong ear for like chord dissections almost. Kind of like when I hear a chord or I hear a lick, like I kind of feel where those keys would be almost. Like you can feel the hand position of a certain chord, like the ghost muscle memory of like what a chord is. And that's just out of experience, right? There's still so many other chords also, especially when I listen to jazz, which I'm trying to get better at. A lot of those chord shapes are unfamiliar to me. So it takes me a little more time to dissect it. I can like identify the notes, but it's not so familiar for me my hands to instantly jump to that position. Do I always use my bass sound sub as your sub? Definitely not. There's certainly a lot of merit in splitting it up and controlling the deep sub bass and also having a texture on top. Do I enjoy my life right now? I would say so. I think I'm in a very, very fortunate position. I feel like literally, actually kind of funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about it. Prior to this entire quarantine, my entire life had been this kind of mad dash to try and reclaim as much freedom as I could get, which is an odd thing to think about. But even like, you know, a full-time job feels like not the purest form of freedom. I mean, yes, it is if you love what you're doing and you've chosen to take that job. But with computer science, that wasn't necessarily the case. Not to say I don't enjoy it, but it's like, could I physically, like reasonably just stop doing this for the rest of my life? And the answer is no, I need the income. And now I'm on a path where maybe I can put music, which is something I love doing, and if I had, you know, a full retirement account loaded and no more work to do, I would be making music anyways. So it kind of puts in perspective because I remember doing all of these like financial independence calculations. I don't know if you guys go on like the early retirement subreddits and stuff, and I was like doing all this math. I was like, okay, I need to like save up this much by this age and I can survive off like 4% interest rate, figuring out all the ways to get there. But now it's like I'm kind of really excited because it feels like I don't need to care about that number. If you were to suddenly dump, I don't know, like a bunch of money in my lap right now, it wouldn't change what I'm doing. And so that was kind of a really crazy realization, and I'm really, really grateful to be able to feel that way. Music is harder to pick up than coding. Oh, I felt 100% the same. Coding just felt like it's a very academic thing. Something that is a little more creative, I feel like you just have to deal with so many like external doubts and issues with creativity. Like I don't need to have a coding style. Well, okay, I mean, in certain contexts, yes, you should have style, but it's like, it's not the same way. Like no one ever codes like artistically. I'm not reading your code like it's a poem. I just want it to be legible. And in music, it's absolutely not the case. There's just like, not only are there rules, but now you have to figure out a way to make those rules kind of unique to your own personality. And that is probably the most abstract and difficult thing to wrestle with, coming from someone who works in a field where everything's very strict and logical, because now it's like, there's not really a wrong answer. Is the melody kind of just like the chord progression, just shorter, just trying to understand? Yeah, actually, the definition of melody has always sort of eluded me, because as I started getting more involved in production, people would be like,
I'm a good melody writer.
and I would be kind of confused because I was like, I feel like you could literally just sing anything over a chord progression. It could work and it'd be called a melody. So I'm like, what does that mean? Usually in that context, what they're saying is they're good at writing hooks. They're good at writing things that are catchy. And so the melody, yeah, is, I guess, kind of like the chord progression, but it's really like a free-flowing line on top of the entire track in every time I think about it. Kind of like the centerpiece lead direction. Like if the rest of the track is the ground, the melody always feels like the dancer on top of it. The movements they choose to make and the way they flow have to somewhat go with the chord progression, but they could also just dance however they want over the floor and it'd probably still sound okay.
Sometimes